Okay, so today I'm just going to talk a little bit about the banners and do just like two polls. That's all I have. Yeah, I wanted to talk about the banners that are active right now. Just kind of go over an overview on some of these characters. They're not going to be super in depth looking at their kits and all that kind of stuff, like numbers. Just kind of like from my perspective, and if anybody is interested or I guess likes the content I put out there, or anyway, the point being, from my perspective, if anybody wants to hear it from my perspective, here's what my plans are and what's up with these units, what my thoughts are on these units and all that kind of stuff. So first of all, we have Seed here. Seed's not bad, but I think if I'm pulling Seed, I'm gonna pair her with Sambi. Now you compare Seed with Sambi, you compare her with Orphe that's coming up. I hear she's not too bad with what's her name, Evelyn maybe. So just general attackers, she's pretty good with having a dual attack setup now. Her main thing is she feeds energy to the other one and she scales off their attack, as well as providing just buffs, all kinds of crazy buffs in general. She's basically just kind of like a more active, what's the word? Just like a more active support, right? She gives a lot of buffs. She's more fun to play because you're swapping back and forth. You're doing all kinds of interesting stuff. But I have to say that like I played her. I played her little demo. Let's go back here. You get to do her little demo here. If I can get there, where is it? Oh, is it down here? Yeah, here it is. I did her little demo. It's not bad. She's kind of fun, but just overall not super entertaining for me. The main thing is, like I said, in this account, you're pairing her with Sambi. If you're getting her for Sambi, you have to ask yourself, what do you like? Do you like Sambi's playstyle? Do you like playing as Sambi? Or if you're using her for Evelyn or other ones, I don't know how she plays with Evelyn, but I know from the Sambi perspective, she turns Sambi into does her look? It says right here. That's her right hand. Does this one say left? Why? That's a little weird. It's funny that it just says them. I mean, I guess it's to know. Anyway, got distracted. This is the first time I noticed that, but I guess it's to know which glove to put on what hand. But anyway, if you're pulling up for Sambi, what she does is she kind of makes Sambi a sub DPS, because I think the idea is you're supposed to main Seed on field. Seed probably feeds her energy plus whoever, if you have like a support or just somebody. Like I think Nicole's ult or somebody's ult gives energy to the other teammates. But the point is she kind of helps funnel energy into Sambi, I'm pretty sure. And then Sambi becomes like a sub DPS. So she's doing her thing, basic attacks, monster smash, the little rocket launchers, all that kind of stuff. And then when you see Sambi has full EX special, just swap into her. EX special, triple chain dash, whatever, and then just swap back to Seed. That's kind of the main gameplay loop. Yeah, and then obviously ults every so often, or just save your obviously gonna save your ults for like the stun window and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, so as you can see, the way I'm describing the gameplay, she basically, the way I play Sammy now is Sammy's on field, obviously triggers off field doing her thing, and then Nicole is kind of like a sub DPS where I just swap her in every so often. This kind of does that. The play style becomes she is the main field driver. Then you have Sambi kind of pop in every now and then when she has EX special to do her EX special, triple dash attack, and then swap back to Seed, and then she continues doing her on field thing. So if that sounds interesting to you, by all means. As an added note, I like this all this like this information here. Like the information that they're adding to all this stuff, like the fact that you have 10 before your next A rank pity, the fact that you have this right here. I like all this stuff because for those of you who play Wuthering Waves, it doesn't tell you. It just says 80 to pity. It's like, well, how far deep am I? What's going on? And I liked all the, they're reminding you, the telling you about how much money it ends up costing to get an S rank. So I don't know. I appreciate the information they put on here. I wonder, it might be losing them money, but anyway, so then her weapon is it? Okay, here it is. Gives her crit rate, which isn't too bad. Again, people have said you can use different weapons instead of this one for her. It's not the best. Basic attack, yeah. It's not terrible. It's just that like there's other comparable ones to it. You don't have to pull. That's one of the things that makes her a little cheap. You can kind of say that she's a little cheap, but her best team is her with Trigger and Sambi, and that's like a whole 3-star team, right? Now you can use her Yeah, there's not a whole lot of good like non-premium teams. Now, if you have a bunch of attackers already, I'm sure she works with a lot of them. She might work with like trying like a what, like a GUN seed Nicole team sounds kind of interesting. You know what I mean? So the thing is, she works with a decent amount of like interesting combos. So like I said, if you're into that, I think again one of the main reasons is just her design physically. Like just I don't know. As much as like the joke is that this game is a Gooner game, obviously, I don't play it for those reasons. But it's like if I summon for her and I main her or something like that, there's no way you're dodging the accusations with the way she's designed and the way she's set up. But like I said, on top of that, I'm just happy that I'm not really like she's not interesting to me, right? So fortunately for my sake, it's the decision's already made for me. Like I said, plus I don't want to summon her weapon. I have enough weapons that apparently on the Brimstone she's not too bad on Brimstone, so that's pretty cool. But yeah, like I said, just you have to have a lot of stuff for her already set up to pull her. Like if you're a newer account, you don't want to pull her because you need a lot of other stuff around her. There's not a lot of good teams without premium units. Like let's look at the free to plays. Anton might be pretty decent with her. I think Anton uses a lot of chain attacks and EX special, so he needs energy. Obviously, she doesn't work well with Anomaly. What else? Like Corrin might be decent. I think Corrin takes up too much field space though. Building might be kind of interesting. You guys might want to tell me how that goes, but I don't have Billy built. I don't really care. I find him annoying. I hate this character. But yeah, so that's kind of the overview on Seed and why I'm not pulling for Seed. I don't really care about her. The other thing is, now we're going to the next one, is I think Trigger is a better pull. I've mentioned this in another video before, but I'm just kind of making a dedicated video to this banner. Trigger, I think Trigger's a better pull, so I'm probably gonna pull her. I think I can get 25 summons from now till in the next 20 days or whatever. Let's go look at Trigger. One of the reasons why I want to pull Trigger. Trigger's M2 is probably one of the best M2s like out of anyone or M1 out of anyone in the game right now. Like other ones, like there's some that are great, and I'm not gonna say they're not, but at least for me, the value that Trigger's M2 is the best out of all the units I have. Obviously, I'd like to get Jane Mindscapes as soon as possible because she's my favorite unit, but I can go without them, and especially because Trigger goes with so many teams that investing into Trigger is never a bad thing. Like she helps everybody, Anomaly, Stun, she helps Rupture agents in the Rupture meta in the future. There's just no bad place for Trigger. And even like if you're running in an Anomaly team, so a team I used to run before I got Yuzuha used to be Jane, Trigger, and then Seth. Though I think it was more. It was Jane, Seth, then Trigger. So Trigger was on the other one because you don't swap over to Trigger as much. Swapping from Seth to her is better because Seth usually has something to do. Even if he doesn't have energy, he has his charged basic attack. If he doesn't have his charged basic attack, he usually has energy to do his EX special. So there's always something worth switching to Seth for. There's not always something worth switching to Trigger for. So she's on the third position, all the way to the right, where Jane is all the way to the left. But yeah, so she works with anybody. Of course, in that team, her passive worked. So because where is it? Because element and attack. So if she had Seth on that team, it works. But now the problem is if I'm gonna run Jane, I'm gonna run her with Yuzuha. So it's gonna be Jane, Trigger, Yuzuha, and Trigger's substat passive whatever doesn't activate. So I'm basically wasting all the crit chance on her. Plus, if you see my build now, I'm obviously we're running this on Trigger here. The problem with this is that obviously Anomaly doesn't take advantage of crit damage, so it doesn't matter. So I have to keep swapping on like this and that. So anyway, the point being is like I like her, and obviously if we had build profiles and I could just swap sets easily back and forth, it'd be cool. But it's annoying having to like have her on one set and then switching her to another set. And Sambi makes better use of her than any other team, so she's kind of stuck with Sambi. But as soon as I can find some way to like, whenever I'm playing more casual stuff, or like if I have enough teams, like if Sambi has a better teammate or something, like later on, I might consider like maybe Sambi, Orphe. If I get Orphe, Sambi, Orphe, Nicole, and then just have them play together. And then it'll free Trigger up to do whatever I want. Maybe play with Jane. Because this team, like Jane, Trigger, Yuzuha would be fantastic. And then I could change her set to something else. Anyway, let's go back here. That was a long description just to say that Trigger has a lot of functionality outside of the Sambi team. She's just good overall, one of the best characters in the game. And with this sharpened senses, it just makes her a lot better. For one, it increases the damage multiplier for that she has the stun damage multiplier by 20%, which is just ridiculous. Like if it just did this first M1 would be pretty good. It wouldn't be a must pull. I think I might have skipped it, but just because it does this would have made this plenty worth it already on its own. But in addition to that, whenever she activates her harmonizing shot, the cooldown is reduced by 2 seconds, which means that she does more. She shoots off more of them over the period of a 3-minute like deadly assault boss or something like that. And then lastly, her purge, she bumps it up to 125. I had originally figured, for those of you who might not know, I had kind of figured that this would make it so you swap into trigger less, right? Yeah, so you swap into her less because she has a bigger bar, which means it takes longer for her to run out. But my brain, I had forgotten, like I didn't factor in the fact that she's now burning purge faster. So it increases how much purge she holds by 25%. But because of this activated part here, it's also burning through purge faster. So I'm pretty sure they balance it out so that basically, if you're playing Deadly Assault and you have to come in, you have to swap into her maybe 2 times to refill her little her purge meter. Basically, you still have to do that 2 times. It's just that you're getting more DPS in that window, so it's fine. But anyway, so that already on its own is the best. Other than that, there really isn't anything else. Like 2 gives the entire team crit damage, which she already does that with her King of the Summit thing, so that's not that big a deal. Not to mention, again, her best team is basically always going to be Sambi. Well, she's best in slot she's Sambi's best in slot, but Sambi isn't her best in slot because she's better with like Miyabi. Like the fact that she can go with Miyabi basically just means that Miyabi's her best team because she's the best unit in the game, right? That might be mathematically, you guys might be able to correct me on that somewhere, but just from a higher level, looking at just from an overview level, it's like I'm pretty sure because Miyabi can use her, it makes her just that much more broken. 4 isn't that interesting. Let me see. She does a bunch of stuff. I'm not going to read all that. That's too complicated. And then 6 gives her when she's shooting her energy bolts for whatever, she gets armor breaking rounds and they just do a bunch of damage. So like the 4 or 5 shots you do to get her purge meter maxed out, now they're just a big chunk of DPS, right? But anyway, so the point being, I really do think Trigger's M1 is really worth investing into. So that's kind of the point of this section here. I'm just gonna do a couple summons. I only have 2, so we're not gonna get very far. I might not even get her because obviously I don't have a pity. Come on, I need Nicole. Thank you. Do I have one more summon? I might have one because of this. Yes, let's do it. Now, just as a closing note, these are pretty valuable. I mean, if you have more impulse control than I do, you should probably save all of these because these are going to be these are super valuable. Like even if you get let's say, I get you max out a unit. Let's say it's like, okay, I went for Nicole and I got her thing. Let's say 2 months ago or whatever. I bought this and I maxed her out, right? Right now she would have given me 20 instead of 8. 20 of these little whatever these things are called, residuals. So she would have given me 20 instead of 8. So even if you max them out and later on you pull them, it's okay. So it's kind of a win-win. You either go here and then you max them out sooner. And then whenever you accidentally pull them, you get their Mindscapes. Whenever you accidentally pull them, you get 20 of this, so it's a whole free summon. But yeah, so like I said, I just prefer to use it on summons because summons are more interesting than merges because you're gonna get the merges eventually. Like they're all 4 stars. You're gonna get them over time, right? There's no reason to stress out about it. But I'd rather have summons because you're not gonna get the 5 stars over time. They take a lot of resources. The other thing is I would probably. Some of these are worth saving for. Like Brimstone isn't too bad. Weeping Cradle is probably one of the better ones. Depending on who can use it. Like Yuzuha can use this pretty well. And then obviously, what's her name? Rina. Something, I'll go into this when I make a Jane Doe. It's not a guide, but just kind of a walkthrough. But let's go back and use this next summon here. I could use another Nicole. Give me Nicole. Oh. So from my understanding, the way I look at this, the pity, there's a pity, there's a hard pity, which is 80. Then there's a soft pity at 75. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to keep summoning one at a time until I hit the 75, which means there's going to be 5 left here. So when I hit 5 left here, I'm probably gonna do a 10 pull and see if I can't get another. I don't know. See if I can't get something interesting. Or actually, you know what I might do is when I hit 70. So when there's 10 here, I'll do a 10 pull, and then she should be there in that 10 pull. But maybe not. You know, we'll see. I have to look at what the best optimal math is for the whatevers. Again, looking at her engine, this patch, if you don't have, if you have her without her engine, this is unfortunately like you need to lock in and get her engine. Like her engine needs to be priority if you have Trigger without her engine. Now, she's still really good without her engine, but with her engine, it becomes like just almost night and day because let's go look at the engine. I mean, you guys kind of might already know. View here. So at max stats, it gives her 24% crit chance, which helps her passive, like basically just maxes out her passive super easy. And second of all, it gives her 25% defense shred, not just for her, but the entire team. One of the things that I was hoping Orphe would do, and maybe Seed would have done, was adding defense shred, but they do have defense shred, as we can see here. But it's for herself. So her basic attack and ultimate damage ignore 20% of the enemy's defense. Each stack. Yeah. So it just gives her 45. Now, if you run Seed, Trigger, and Nicole, it's what? It's 65 plus 20 is 85, right? It's 85% defense shred. It's ridiculous. So if you don't have Sambi, honestly, if you don't have Sambi and you're looking for a replacement for Sambi, Seed would probably be pretty good if you're looking for like a Sambi, Trigger, Nicole team, but you kind of need a second attacker for that team. But again, it'll play the same as Sambi, Trigger, Nicole. It'll play kind of similar because you're swapping back and forth between Sambi and Nicole, but instead it's Seed and another attacker. But I feel like it's not going to be as good unless you have actually Sambi. But again, you're also missing, like I said, you're missing the 40% defense shred that Nicole offers. But yeah, anyway, so the point being that this engine, if you don't have it, like I highly recommend it because everybody can use this. If you're playing Anomaly, obviously they can use the defense shred. Like I think Miyabi has defense shred in one of her Mindscapes. So if you have Mindscapes on her, they stack and defense shred is just ridiculous. Again, and I mentioned this before. I feel like let's hold on. Let me. So here's this, and then down here we get more impact. So just faster stunning, defense shred plus. I think that's it. Yeah, defense shred and stunning, faster stunning, plus the crit rate helps with their build. So yeah, if you don't have this, I would recommend getting this. After you get, like if let's say you have a lot of money or you care about Trigger, after you get her M1, what I recommend is actually just going, instead of going to her M1, invest in her weapon, more dupes for her weapon. Because they're, what's the word? The pity for weapons is a lot better. It's a 75-25%, whereas in the character, it's 50-50. So, you know, you might lose. But the weapon, you still might lose, unfortunately. But it's a little bit better that you might not lose. But the reason you might want to do this is because her weapon, when you max it out, boosts this defense stretch. So now she does 40% defense stretch. She literally has Nicole's core passive in her weapon, just casually, right? It's ridiculous. That's not even counting in how much extra impact she's getting. She's getting 3 stacks, 6, 18, 4, 12, wait, 18, 4 times 3. My math isn't mathing right here. 18, 3 times 4 is 12. So 19.2. So almost 20 impact plus, yeah, so 19.2, so 30% impact, right? 19, no, almost 40. So this gives you 19.2. Yeah. I think it's like 40. It doesn't matter, but around 40. It's a lot of impact. That's all I'm saying. Like, look at how ridiculous this impact is. So that's kind of what I would recommend. That's what I'm going to do going into the future is, like, if I had more resources, if I didn't want characters, like, I also, like, as much as I want to invest in Trigger and make my characters better, I also kind of want other units to kind of, you know, even out the account. But if I were to just, like, if I had everything I wanted, like Alice, right? If I had Alice and I had all these other units, all my other teams were kind of prim and, like, as good as I wanted them to be, I would 100% just start investing into her weapon, because getting that defense shred up is ridiculous. Especially like now that I have, like, I'm running her with Nicole, 40 plus 40 is 80% defense shred. It's just ridiculous. So yeah, that's that. For those of you who want to see, I finally have another Nicole merge. It's not the last one. I'm getting close. But a few more summons on Trigger is gonna hopefully get me this last one. Which is, this isn't even bad either because it also gives you. Let's go over here. It gives you +2 to these skills, which again she doesn't do a lot of damage, but she does more than no damage at all. So that's pretty cool. Like I said, this will probably improve my deadly assault scores. And for those of you who know this new set, like Nicole on this new set is ridiculous because she swaps in and out so much faster now. She's got 20% from here. Now you have another 20% from this, and then you max out 20 here plus this. She has so much energy recharge, especially if I max this out eventually and get the energy recharge from here. I might swap this over to attack percentage, then she'll do slightly more, even more damage, right? So I don't know. Nicole is turning out to be one of my favorite units to be running, so I'm actually really happy about using her. So yeah, anyway, I'll talk about her in a separate video. But yeah, just like I said, I've gone on too long now at this point. But this is kind of my review of the current banner and what I would recommend prioritizing. Now the other question is, I'll come up with this in the later video, but it'll be too late by then. I want to mention why I'm going for trigger merge over like Orphe, and it's because for one, looking at Orphe's kit, and especially I was playing the story mode, so I gotta use Orphe a little bit. She's just not super entertaining to play. I still find the core like team comp of Sambi Nicole to be a lot more fun than like Sambi Orphe. Like Orphe is cool because she just kind of hangs out on the field and does a lot of damage by herself. But I don't know. It's just it doesn't feel like there's a lot of skill expression there. Like timing Nicole's ults and EX specials with Sambi's like damage output and trying to get those windows to match up and just pouring into the enemy, like that's a lot more interesting to me. A lot more gameplay variety. And then one of the things that I was gonna mention in this game is that it's not. I'm not gonna say it's impossible to run like 3 active characters, right? It's like I said, it's not impossible, but it doesn't feel like it's super beneficial. It feels like to me, the max for quick swapping and actually getting benefits, because you can swap between all 3 characters. You can run like a team of Miyabi, Miyabi, Yishuan, and Sambi. If those are your 3 favorite characters, you can run a team like that. But obviously, even as I'm describing it, you're missing buffs everywhere. No one's helping on each other. There's no synergy. So there has to be a balance between, okay, I like this kit, and I like the buffs, the way people are synchronizing with their buffs and all this other stuff. So in this game, it feels a lot like having 2 units is the max for like quick swap that makes sense, right? Again, you can quick swap whoever you want. You can go, like my favorite characters are like, what's her name? Sambi and Jane Doe, right? Those are my 2 favorite characters. I could put them on a team together and then quick swap them all day, but they're not synergistic. They're not helping each other, right? So there's a lot of pretty cool skill stuff that looking at it visually, it might look cool to see like EX specialing with Jane Doe into a Sambi EX special, and then chain attack lightning swap back into Jane Doe and do all kinds of like ults and all kinds of like, it might look cool from a surface perspective, but the buffs aren't synergistic. You're wasting a lot of damage potential, and you can't really like, I don't know, just. The point being is that to me, it seems like the way that the game is designed, like 2 is kind of the max for like having 2 good on-field presences where they're all buffing each other and no one's wasting any buffs just for the sake of like, oh, I like these 2 characters, I'll put them together, right? So that's kind of what I think. And like I said, in this game, the fact that Trigger just sits in the back and lets me go, basically, I'm running a quick swap team between Nicole and Sambi, and Trigger's just in the background doing her thing every so often she needs to come in and refresh her buffs and then leave again. But yeah, that basically changes with Orphe, and it puts Orphe there. So basically, you're quick swapping between Orphe and Sambi, or in this case, you're quick swapping between Seed and Sambi. But again, I don't really like Seed that much. One of the other reasons that I wanted to mention was that also I feel like defense units are coming in more and more. I put this in the other video, but now I'm kind of exploring it a little more here. Defense, I think, is going to be a bigger issue going forward, where people are complaining so much about the HP inflation that for those of you who know like our other RPGs and stuff, is there's a concept called EHP, effective health points, effective health pool. The P in HP has changed over time, but I don't. Anyway, EHP becomes the concept of how much effective health something has. So as an example, just as a thought experiment, let's say this enemy has 100 health. To kill him, you have to do 100 damage, right? 100 points of damage. But now let's say he has a stat that says defense 50%. Again, don't take this. These are just theoretical numbers. Here it works a lot different. There's a whole formula of like, if he has X amount of defense, it does Y percentage of damage reduction, and then you multiply. All kinds of nonsense. But I'm just simplifying in simple terms, right? So EHP means that if you have a dude with 100 health and he has, let's say, 50 defense, and let's say in this theoretical scenario, 50 defense means it reduces the incoming damage by half, by 50%. Essentially, it means his health bar is now 200 because to kill him, I have to do 200 damage because half of my damage is missing. So he has 100 HP, 50 defense. If I do 100 damage, it's reducing it. So I'm only doing 50. So I only have 50 of his health points. Anyway, hopefully everyone knows what EHP is at this point. It's just a small summary. I think Hoyo is realizing that people are complaining about HP inflation, and I think they're just going to go in the direction of scaling up their EHP by tweaking defense statistics in the background and making it basically it's just a trick to obscure health, right? Like there's no reason for defense to work the way it does. It's just a way to obscure health and make things a little more complicated. So bottom line is I think I'm just going to keep Sambi, Nicole, Trigger because Nicole with Trigger together reduce defense by so drastic an amount that in going forward, that defense shred is going to be too useful to just give up like that. And that's not just anything. Like I think Nicole is going to be one of our best scaling units in going forward, just because of how much defense shred she gives to like older units. Like obviously we're getting rupture meta and they just do a lot of true damage, which is fine. But I think Nicole is going to help out a lot of older units with defense shred. Like 40% is no joke. But yeah, so those are some thoughts for you guys if you're looking ahead in the meta. I think again. The main point is it's why especially again I recommend people be summoning on this banner because not only do you get Trigger, you also get Nicole, which is just dumb. It's just like such great value there. I don't know why. I guess it's for since she's the main person of this banner, you get a stunner plus you get a support, and that makes a good to go team. I was just kind of thinking. My first thought was like I don't know why Trigger is coming with another stunner and a support unit, but yeah, obviously it makes sense. But anyway, whoever decided to put Nicole with Trigger. That dude's a homie. Like he's trying to hook us up, right? That's So keep that in mind. Yeah, like I said, this is what I would recommend. Oh, I actually have some Bang Boo summons here. Let's go do these. Actually, I need to choose a new one. I don't know what to choose here. I kind of like this one. She reminds me of Sailor Moon. I like Sailor Moon. I don't know who to choose here. I like Robin. Well, I'll just summon more of Snap. But yeah, so that's kind of my summary of the banner. I recently actually just got Snap. You can see as you can see, it says 80 summons, which means I just pulled one. So I'm testing him out, seeing how Snap works with because he's actually a Bamboo that gives out. Apparently, he gives out damage percentage bonus, which I think is insane. I don't know how any Bamboo can be giving out damage percentage. I don't think it's actually super beneficial. I think it's just kind of like it's so little that like you might just benefit from another one instead, but I'm trying it out anyway. What else? I guess that's everything. So yeah, I'll see you guys in the next video. If I can find a way to stop. There we go.